Portal 2, but it's really been far even has decided to use even go want to do look more like? Look, I don't even know what that means, and thankfully it's not a real comment, but it's also not too far from the stuff you guys suggest. Obviously, I'm exaggerating here, but the point here is that a good challenge can take months of planning, and most of what my comment section comes up with are ideas that have at best 15 seconds of thought put into them. This usually results in challenges that sound good on paper, but are horribly broken as soon as you try them in-game. At least, on their own. What if I took some of your weirdest ideas and combined them to make one horrible mod? Okay, let's start with this first one. Cubes fire bullets. What does that even mean? Well, okay, my interpretation was to literally strap a turret to every cube. Combined with the instant death and my inability to make save files, this meant that any one shot from these guys would bring me back to the very start of the level. They're not too hard to deal with though. Tipping the cube over makes the turret self-destruct, thus permanently removing it from the cube. But that's not our only problem here. Remember that we also can't bring cubes through portals, but this map has a comfortably high ceiling, letting us just toss it over. And speaking of portals, we've also got that weird restriction of portals firing 180 degrees behind me. This is just another example of something that, no matter where and how, will never provide an interesting challenge. It just gets annoying after a while, having to either literally calculate where to aim or practically just taking an educated guess. Anyway, now that you have a rough idea of what the challenge is about, here's a level that utilized every part of it to the extreme. I can't get this cube out of the glass cage on its own, so my idea was to line up a fairly precise shot from the orange portal, which would let me get inside the cage myself. I would then grab one of the wall-mounted cameras and use it to clip the cube through the glass. Sounds simple enough on paper, right? But remember, without save files, I have to do all of this in one go. And it's pretty easy to get yourself killed when you're locked in a cage with a turret. Oh. It slipped. Oh no, I got it! I got it! That was the hardest map in testing. Although keep in mind that when I say testing, what I really mean is just a surface level glance at the first 3 chapters. This was still going to be hard, just not half an hour of grinding one level hard. But at least for now, the goal was just to get more comfortable with shooting portals out of my back. And now that you've hopefully seen the difference between good challenges and whatever this is, I bet that some of you might be inspired to try and learn the intricacies of good game design. And what better way to do that than with this video's sponsor, Skillshare, an online learning community with thousands of classes in whatever you're looking to learn. And yes, game design is among those many things that Skillshare provides. So I actually took a few classes in it myself to try and get a better grasp of what exactly makes for a fun challenge. For this, I found Matteo Menepasche's class titled Learn the Fundamentals of Game Design by Making a Board Game in One Day. And yes, I know it's about board games, but the approach he uses to hack existing games is very similar to what I've been doing here. So if you want to learn more about this or any other topic that Skillshare provides, the first 1,000 people to click the link in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. In an effort to have some fun, I started trying some of the simpler speedrun routes with varying degrees of success. Again, I don't have save files and I wasn't going to restart the level for a 5-second time save. Some levels were tricky enough as is. The instant death and level resets made this horribly unforgiving and punishing, which would usually be fine in most other challenges. But the cube-mounted turrets and backwards portal gun made my gameplay feel incredibly inconsistent and unsatisfying, as if I had no control over when I would be forced to reset. Because of this, I slowly grew more and more impatient. I kept trying to go fast, failing, resetting, which then got me even more frustrated and, well, you see the cycle. On this map in specific, I had to mess with bridges to avoid passing the cube through the portal, and when we were finally done with that whole mess, I forgot what I was even doing. Oh, and while we're on bridge intro, I noticed something about the way I aim. In general, people tend to naturally look down. No, seriously, the next time you find yourself just like walking somewhere alone, pay attention to how your head is tilted and you'll notice that you naturally look a few degrees downwards. This also carries over to video games, and it's why newer players tend to look down so often and struggle with keeping crosshair placement. And it's also why being right above someone in the open can be a surprisingly good stealth tactic. But okay, here's why I brought it up. Look at where I placed the bridge here. While falling, I was sure that I'm aiming perfectly straight, but yeah, looking back at the replay, I'm aiming a few degrees lower. Is this important? Well, no, I just thought it was kinda cool. But this, combined with my growing frustration, might have been the reason that bridge intro took over half an hour. Right about now is also where we get officially introduced to turrets. Unlike the cubes, these guys are placed in a more strategic manner, which, when combined with my dwindling sanity, made for some really stupid deaths.
Shoot that portal there, and then just like airstrike on the... Die! Die! You could have killed the other one while you were at it. What if I just like... forget about all of this? Oh! You can shoot me. What if I just forget about all of this and just like flee to Mexico real quick? Just like run away from my prop. Or just hop it. That doesn't matter. How did none of those hit me? Put them in the grinder. I was a bit too close to that thing for comfort. I was holding you sideways. What? Bro, oh my god. Oh wow, it's column blocker. Darkness.
But it's probably worth worrying about more than just the darkness. Despite us dealing with turrets since the very start, this guy was a bit more annoying than usual, being isolated on its own little island. What's worse is that because of how big this level is, every reset had me recalculating all of the portal shots, so that's where another half an hour went. Laser chaining was a bit special in that it put some more emphasis on the fact that we can't teleport cubes up to where the laser is. I worked around this by exploiting a glitch that lets me climb the wall with 2 of the cubes.
There it is. Okay, got that cube up there. And then, I mean, I could probably just... Guys, there's something wrong with my cubes.
Jokes aside, this part of the game focuses more on all of that world building and whatnot, so there aren't that many ways to get hurt. Not being able to comfortably shoot portals is as annoying as it gets here. Well, that and the potential for silly mistakes.
Oh my god, are you serious? Are you serious?
In fact, this part of the game is what speedrunners like to call Cutscene City. The fun, or the suffering in this case, only resumes once we're back to the puzzles. To avoid being shot by a turret bouncing and flailing around, I glitched the button to keep the exit door open. And I was planning on doing that again for the second room until this guy in the back caught me off guard. This dude was actually quite the prick. I couldn't even get close before he one-tapped me every time. So I decided to completely ignore him and grab the other cube in the room, to do a clever little trick that lets me get up to the exit by continuously building height. I always love the plays that come from this level, because unlike the rest of Chapter 6 and 7, the speedrun route isn't just some super precise portal shot across the entire map. For the most part, these types of levels force me to take the intended path due to how hard it is to hit the precise shots. Of course, I'm stubborn as hell, so eventually I would just die trying anyway. Sometimes though, I'm left with no choice. Propulsion intro wasn't solvable via the intended route due to where this cube is, so I was back to shooting the tight shots. This had to be done by actually pre-calculating the angles. It's just a couple of subtractions, but it's still really annoying to do every time I want to hit a shot like this. Though, to be fair, it is pretty satisfying to turn around and see that a portal has manifested itself right where it was planned.
There you go. Okay, no. Walk behind the elevator. Behind the Oh. No, what? What is this? What is this? That's the first time I've ever gotten there.
This next level is home to one of the coolest Portal 2 tricks, the lemonade skip. Essentially, you do a super intricate setup to then skip the part of the level where Cave Johnson rambles about lemons or something. Now, because this isn't really a speedrun, we don't have to do all of that. But then some goddamn idiot bribed me into trying it, so that's where my sanity and half an hour of my life went. But I'm no psychopath, so after it wasn't working for the 50th attempt, we moved on. Luckily, the rest of the chapter was easy in comparison. There's not much that can get me killed here, and the reversed portal shots were really the only nuisance. But I can't say that for the next one though, as it opens up with quite literally a room full of turrets, all trying to kill me in one way or another. And I gotta say, they're not half bad at that, are they? And now that we're at chapter 8, you might expect me to instantly flock to my beloved crouch fly glitch. But actually, no. I can't set it up here with the turret locking on to my every move. So instead, I pull off another really cool trick that lets me temporarily reverse the direction of the funnel and get up to the cube. And now, of course, I can set up for my precious fly glitch. Oh my god, I love it so much. Though, to be fair, the fun was short-lived. Turns out that whenever I die, which happens fairly often, I lose the CFG that I had preserved from the previous level. So goddammit, I was back to walking again like the pathetic mortal I am. Well, okay, I would only be temporarily handicapped by the curse that is gravity. While preserving the fly glitch had no chance of working, I could still get it on a per level basis to handle some of the tougher maps. Of course, on those that didn't have a funnel, I would just do the intended route, maybe improvising a bit if needed, but as a speedrunner, this obviously wasn't the most satisfying thing in the world. Most of these solutions were painfully slow and nothing but frustrating, especially when any one stupid mistake would grant an instant reset. It took us 10 resets and half an hour just to get past Repulsion Polarity, but that wasn't without a reason. This is the last map before Chapter 9, so I tried my best to preserve the fly glitch through this one. Looking back at it, it really was just a gamble. I was hoping that the time save would more than make up for the lost sanity. I was also back to full focus, making sure to avoid any stupid mistakes as hard as that may be. Honestly though, preserving the fly state was less about saving time and more just about saving myself from going mad. One small problem, however. Finale 2. This map ends with a room full of turrets. Normally, this wouldn't be a huge problem as I could just bait them out and run past with minimal damage. But this time, I couldn't afford any damage. I knew that the only way to do this was to fly past the turrets using one of the slower speedrun routes. But I had never practiced this before, so I had no idea what I was doing. So, yeah, I was back to reset hell. Eventually, I pushed through by simply being as careful as physically possible. And from here, there was nothing standing between me and Finale 4. The fight gives you plenty of time, so I'm gonna take that time to actually focus on not getting hit. There you go, okay. First evade, and that will funnel through the portal, and hit him. And I'll wait until they all funnel through. Nice. Okay. And then plug this in. Return back to where the first portal was. And this is how we do it. This is how we do it. It's a fucking turn-based action RPG, okay? This is no longer Portal 2. And now, okay, that portal is... No, that portal is fine. Okay. Boom. Okay. That's all the cores.